All right, guys, another section on the bivariate data with relative frequencies. We are going to look at this from a little bit different perspective. We are going to look at the relative frequency, and again, relative frequency. What this is going to be is how often something happens, but we will divide it by the outcome. Okay, so this is the table that we were working with yesterday, and this is our just two-way frequency table from yesterday's lesson. And now below, it's partially, and I will zoom a little bit more in, is partially completed relative frequency table. So if we look at the females, how many females chose the superpower to fly? It was 49, and it's always out of the total, which was 45. If you divide it, you will get approximately 0.109, and if you switch it into percentages, move the decimal 2 places, and you will get 10.9. I already started filling this out. We want to fill out this entire table. So if you look at this one, 131 over 45, and if you look at the percentage gives you a little bit more data that you can visualize a little bit better. So for this one, you will have 51 divided by 450, which is approximately 11.3%. Here the total is going to be 100 over 450, which is going to give you approximately 22.2%. If we go to invisibility, again, I did those. You can take a look, 60 over 450, 71 over 450, and so on. Here we will have 48 divided by 450. That is about 10.7. This one, let's change this into percentage just so we are consistent. 75 over 450, which is about 16.7%. Super strength, 1 over 450, and that's 0.2. 25 over 450. You can complete this. I want to encourage you to complete this by yourself, and then once you do, check with my answer. Let's see, we are at the total of the super strength, so that's 26 over 450, 5.8. This one is the last one here, 70. So again, everywhere we are dividing by the total, which was 450, so we have 15.6. 48 divided by 450, which is about 10.7. We are almost done. And this one we have 22 divided by 450, that is 49.3 approximately. And notice here we have a total of 450 over 450, which is 1, which is going to give you 100%. All right. Now, if we are to look at the questions that we have, so the first one is to calculate the remaining relative frequencies in the table, which we did, and we did write the value in the table as a decimal, rounded to the nearest thousands, and or actually it says or as a percent. We did that. So based on the previous work with frequencies table, which cells in the table would represent the joint relative frequencies? The same idea, joint ones, those are going to be non-shaded, and if you go to find the relative frequencies, those would be shaded. All right. Now, what is the joint relative frequency for females who selected invisibility? So we will go to females and invisibility, and here's our answer, 10.7. Notice this is the relative frequency. This is our answer for this. All right, if I go to the next page, we'll have to go back and forth, going back to our table. So what is the marginal relative frequency for the freeze time? And well, I wrote my answer, but if we look at the table, look at the relative frequency for the freeze time, that is 29.1, so that's that total. So 29.1% of those that were surveyed chose freeze as their favorite superpower. And what is the difference in joint relative frequency for males and females who selected fly as their superpower? So here's the fly, fly, and I did 11.3 minus 10.9, and you will get 0.4%. So is there a noticeable difference between the genders and their favorite superpower? So if you look at that, well, in this case, it's not the one that we found for number 6. But if you look at all the other ones, I would say that in general, for most categories, there is a noticeable difference. And again, when you organize the data in a table like this, it is nice to see. All right, there's a nice story for you. I wish we were in class and I would ask someone to read. But there's a debate, so interest in superheroes continues at the high school. The students who analyzed the data in the previous lessons decided to create a comic strip for the school website that involves a superhero. They thought that summaries developed from the data would be helpful in designing the comic strip. Only one power will be given to the superhero. A debate arose as to what power the school superhero would possess. Students used the two-way frequency table and relative frequency table to continue the discussion. Take another look at those tables and please have them in front of you. Scott initially indicated that the character created should have super strength as the special power. This suggestion was not well received by the other students planning this project. In particular, Jill argued, well, if you don't want to ignore more than half of the readers, then I suggest telepathy is the better power for our character. And again, I already wrote the answers, so I won't give you much time to think about them while you can print the notes and not look at my video for a second. But how do data supports Scott's claim? Why do you think he selected freeze time as the special power for the comic strip? So if you look at the freeze time, we have a total of 29.1%. So looking at our table, which is right in here, and this number is the highest. This number is the highest. So for the total relative frequencies, freeze time have the highest percentage. How do the data support Jill's claim? Why do you think she selected telepathy as the special power? Well, if we look at telepathy, this is 15%, 10%. And if you look at the 15% in this row, this is the highest number. However, she only looked at females, and for the telepathy, that was the highest number. So of those two special powers, freeze time and telepathy, select one and justify why you think it's a better choice. So I hope you would agree with me that the freeze time would be a better choice because it represents all the genders. All right, please take a look at those numbers, because looking at just my video, it's kind of, you need to try to do this by yourself. Please complete the practice page and submit everything on Teams. Have a great day, guys.